with the groups and getting them all prepared. I'd like to introduce from San Marcos Unified, Matt Armstrong, our percussion manager. And you probably got emails and information from this gentleman from Gahr High School, Darren Loney.
All right, how about another big round of applause for the middle school honor band? Were they fantastic? Welcome to the 2026 All-Southern Symphonic Band Concert, and we're honored to welcome you as we celebrate the remarkable talent, dedication, and artistry of these outstanding student musicians in front of you. These students have committed countless hours to preparation, growth, and excellence, and today's performance is a testament to their hard work. We'd like to do a little bit of student recognition. So the first thing we'd like to do is recognize all of the students who are performing in an All-Southern Honor Band for the very first time. If you could please stand up if this is your first year in an All-Southern Honor Band. Let's give it up for them. Congratulations. All right, now we'd like to invite our second year members. If this is your second year in an All-Southern Honor Group, please stand up and be recognized. All our second year members. All right, let's keep it going. How about our third year members? If this is your third year in an All-Southern Honor Group. And how about our fourth year members? If this is your fourth year being an All-Southern Honor Group. All right, we already planned this, so we know. How about if it's your fifth year in an All-Southern Honor Group? And back here. Fantastic. And finally, if this is your sixth year in an All-Southern Honor Group, we've got Mark over here. He's getting into middle school. We'd also like to recognize all of the families, supporters that really bring the best out of these students. We know that it's your encouragement, patience, listening to them practice all hours of the night. That makes this possible. If we can please give a huge round of applause to all of our families, parents. Oh, we do a lot of that. Now we're going to tune. Would you guys like to hear them play? They've been working super hard, and we're just so thrilled to get to hear them play now. It's my great pleasure to introduce this year's guest conductor for the All-Southern Symphonic Band, Dr. Jeffrey Seriere. Dr. Seriere is the Director of Instrumental Ensembles at Cabrillo College. He's also the Music Director of the San Francisco Brass Band and Youth Orchestra Salinas. Dr. Seriere has held faculty positions in both higher education as well as secondary, including OSHA, California School of the Arts, the Wartburg College in Iowa, and most notably the Assistant Director of Bands at Mayfair High School, alongside Mr. Tom Phillips, where he helped lead the award-winning Monsoon Marching Corps, Wind Ensemble, and Symphonic Band. Dr. Seriere earned his degrees from Cal State Long Beach, and holds a doctoral of music arts degree from Northwestern University, where he studied with Dr. Mallory Thompson. It's been an absolute joy watching Jeff work with the kids the past 2 days. He has made this truly special. He's programmed some very unique music, and we'll also have a world premiere of a piece coming up at the end of the concert. And it's really been awesome how far they've come in just a very short period of time. It's now my pleasure to welcome our guest conductor, Dr. Jeffrey Seriere, and the 2026 All Southern Symphonic Band.
Good morning, how are we doing out there? Thank you so much. That first piece is just pure joy. La Silla by Juan Pablo Contreras, a Guadalajara composer, who's also an LA-based composer, has been composing music mostly for orchestras, but we've been fortunate that a couple of his pieces have been transcribed for wind band. And in preparation for this performance with these wonderful students on stage, I was in contact with Juan Pablo, and he wished them all the best in their performance of this piece today. And he's very much looking forward to that wonderful performance. He's going to take a listen to that. So congratulations again to you guys on a wonderful performance. La Silla is it's a saddle on a horse, and also there's a mountaintop that is sort of shaped like a saddle, and the whole piece is about the joy of this horse race that happens down in Mexico. So a wonderful way to start our performance. The next piece we're going to do for you, Duane Milburn's American Hymnsong Suite, is a piece that has been around for about 20 years. It does not get performed as often as it should. Duane Milburn teaches at UCLA, and in the band world, we love our suites. First suite in E flat, second suite in F, the original suite by Gordon Jacob, all these suites that become staples of a repertoire. This is one of these pieces that I think needs to be one of the standards of the repertoire. And the students are so attentive to all the detail. There's such rich harmony in this. There's some quirkiness in it, but his treatment of all of these American hymns is really quite lovely, and the students have done a good job on this. This is Duane Milburn's American Hymnsong Suite. So the next piece we have for you, I'm sure many of you are familiar with this music. Raise your hand if you're a fan of Studio Ghibli, or have seen the movie Spirited Away. Yeah, this has been a joy to work on this music with these students. Spirited Away came out in 2001, so this July will be the 25th anniversary of this incredible film by Hayao Miyazaki, but also the 25th anniversary of this incredible music by his collaborator, Joe Hisaishi. And Joe Hisaishi and Miyazaki are like John Williams and Steven Spielberg. You can't imagine one of their films without the other's artistry, or you can't imagine one of their music without the other person's film. They're intertwined with each other. And for many people, this is the music of their childhood. In the United States, it would be probably Disney movies, but in Japan, this would be the Disney of Japan. And we've been so fortunate that we have access to this music now. For the longest time, you couldn't even get to see the films here. And the reason why I picked this was for a couple of reasons. One is Miyazaki's films always have themes that focus on the imagination and the innocence of young people, and how they are often entering into a world that is dark and challenging and sometimes violent, and we don't take care of our environment. There's all these themes in this film about how there is always hope in children, but it's up to us to take care of their future, to make sure that they have a future that they can live in peacefully, and a future where they can live in a world where they are seen in their authentic selves, and they can have joy in their lives too. And at the heart of this movie, Spirited Away, there's this young girl, and her parents end up kind of being gluttons, and they end up turning into pigs at some point. And she gets lost in the spirit world. And you can imagine like the young child like thinking about this spirit world and trying to avoid the trials and tribulations of life. But in the process, she almost loses her own identity. And she has to remember her name. If she loses her real name in life, then she disappears. And so the whole point of this film is how she actually helps this spirit earlier on in her childhood that she doesn't remember, and that spirit is trying to help her get back to her family. This is just such beautiful music, and the students have done just such a phenomenal job. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about how this connects to the next piece, but I hope you enjoy music from Joe Hisaishi's, or Hayao Miyazaki's film Spirited Away, and music by Joe Hisaishi. So before I introduce our last piece in our world premiere here, I just wanted to share just some personal notes here. First of all, I am a product of SCSBOA through and through. I first went to an SCSBOA festival when I was a 7th grader at Mayfair Middle School. My band director was Gina Holcomb, and that was 2002, I believe. I went to my first SCSBOA conference when I was a sophomore in high school, because my high school band director, Tom Phillips, was like, hey, if you're gonna be drum major, you need to go to this drum major session they have at the fall conference. So my first time ever going to the conference, I went to a session with Greg Rochford and Kim Kruger. For those of you out there, I think Greg might be here. It was my first time going to conference, and then after that, I went to like every conference with him. Because I loved being here. I loved being around all these music educators. And don't tell Amy Mack this, but I would sneak into all kinds of sessions and not pay for membership. But that's how I got involved with SCSBOA since I've been in high school. I also had students that have been in these honor bands. I've also taken my students to SCSBOA festivals, and my high school band director is here, Tom Phillips. He and I taught together at Mayfair, so we did all the build competitions, all the parade competitions. So SCSBOA is where I got started. SCSBOA has been sort of the guiding force in my life for everything I've done as an educator. And the one thing in SCSBOA I haven't done is I've actually never been involved in the honor bands. When I was telling the saxophones this, when I was in high school, I auditioned for All Southern once. And the funny thing is, the piece that they had to audition on this year was the same exact piece I auditioned on. And as a young saxophonist, and this piece it's called Tableau de Provence, it's a French composer, and there was all these French terms in the music, and then there was all these symbols I didn't understand, and I played everything as I thought it should be played, except I didn't play any of the double sharps. So that's why I didn't get into All Southern. At least that was part of it. So this is my first experience with an SCSBOA honor band, and it has been an absolute joy. The students on this stage have presented us all with an incredible gift. We talked about this before the performance, that what they have is an ability to put beauty out into the world. And that is something that we need so much more of. And on this stage right now is the light of the future and the beauty of the future. And we have to support that. We have to make sure that we build a future for them. We have to keep that in mind all the time. These students have been just such a wonder to work with. They've been attentive. I've pushed them hard. I came in high energy at the beginning of this, and after rehearsal, I was still high energy. After our first rehearsal together, they were like, ugh. And I was like, 2 more hours, let's go, let's do it. But they really rallied, and they pushed really hard on this wonderful repertoire, and it's been such a joy. Before we play the last piece and I introduce it, I also need to make sure I thank Kathy Ollinger, Brad Harris, and Zach Christie, Darren Loney, and Matt Armstrong for all their work. The invitation to conduct this ensemble has been the joy of my life, and none of this would have happened without them and their ability to organize this. And all the educators in the room, thank you so much for sharing your students with me. Thank you for all the incredible work that you do. It means a lot to everybody, so thank you so much. The last piece that we have for you, it sounds like this is the first time the Symphonic Band has done a premiere. And my good friend Casey Martin, who's here today, is somebody that I've collaborated with ever since college. We played in groups together. I've conducted his pieces before. And when it was announced that I was conducting this group, he actually reached out to me and said, hey, I'm an alum of the SCSBOA Symphonic Band. Can I write a piece for you guys? And I was like, yeah. And so Casey wrote us this piece, and he asked me, he's like, what do you want? And I said, I need it to be a closer, and I want it to be a romp. I want the students to just be able to go for it. And so he ended up writing us a video game boss battle. That's what this piece is, and it's called Colossus. And I think with sort of the theme of this concert and believing in our students, we also have to believe in their strength and their ability to fight those big battles. And so I want to thank you again, and thank you to SCSBOA for this opportunity, and thank you again to these wonderful students. Students, can we also thank all of our parents out there who helped us out with getting here? How about a round of applause for them? This is the world premiere of Casey Martin's Colossus.